What's going on? So listen, I know a lot of people have been asking me about making a food video, but listen, I'm not making a whole video to log all day eating. Like, I'm just not in the mood for that. But I will try today to try to make a video of one of my post-workout meals, and I'm extra happy because I was able to get a filet mignon, which is going to be my lean source of protein, and some of the other things. So usually when you finish working out, you want a good carb source, and I like to have a lean source of protein. It just so happens to work out that today is going to be like my second breakfast, because my first is usually my protein shake with my spinach and my other stuff. And then what I like to also do is take this, put some coffee in there, and then that'll be my drink along with my breakfast. So let's go over what I have. Right here, I was able to go to the butcher, get me a nice 9 ounce, not 9 pound shit. No, that would be a lot of damn money. Well worth it though. Filet, 9 ounce filet. I got my oatmeal. What I like to dress my oatmeal up with are craisins, cinnamon, and brown sugar. Of course, real oatmeal. We're not doing any of that instant. And then I also like to use real blueberries. All right, so real blueberries to season the meat. You don't need nothing like extra crazy. All right, when you go to seasoning your meat. Seasoning salt, no iodized salt. I have my kosher salt. That's what I use to put in my water with my oatmeal. I got a little Chicago steak seasoning. And oh, the wife hooked me up with pure ground black pepper. I had some other stuff up there in the tin can, I guess she said. Not worth it. So that is what I want to do. We have the scale here to really see if the meat is 9 ounces after it's cooked. I want to go ahead and measure it after it's cooked and then get that in. And everything else don't need to really measure, but I do want to measure my lean protein. So I'm going to do my best I can with this video. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I got to cook all this stuff. So let's get started. So and get this meat seasoned up. I like to go ahead, put the seasoning salt on, press it in real good, get it embedded in that meat. A little pepper, like I said, nothing too crazy. And there we go. Once that's done, go get the pan straightened up, put some butter in that pan. Let's go. All right, so now I am using butter with the steak, with the filet, instead of olive oil. I just found that in cast iron skillet pan is the best way to get flavor out of the meat. I just found using the olive oil, put a little butter in there. I have the room for it. Butter. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna sear the meat on both sides. And hopefully I can show you how I kind of do that. Sear it on both sides for about like 3-5 minutes to my liking. Flip it, do it again. Then I try to hit the edges. Then we're gonna go ahead, preheat the oven to 350, slide that in the oven. While that's doing, then we'll get started on the oatmeal. One thing you want to make sure is that the pan is nice and hot. When you put the meat in there, you want it to start sizzling. If you drop your meat in and it's like blah, not hot enough, you're not gonna like that. So you want to let this pan get nice and hot. Drop the meat in, immediately it starts to sizzle and starts cooking up. That's what you want. Immediate sizzle. Now we're gonna go ahead, 3 to 5 minutes on one side, 3 to 5 on the other side. Already got the oven preheating. We can go ahead and start prepping the water for the oatmeal. Just sprinkle a little in there. So we got our oats right here. I'm gonna use a strainer to rinse off the blueberries, and then some of that water that be in there, I end up using and putting that in the oatmeal again, because sometimes that water dissipates and then the oatmeal wants to get sticky. So I put the strainer over the bowl to catch the excess water and use the excess water in there. Take some of this. Now, if you get a lot of smoke coming off the pan, go ahead and turn your heat down a little bit. You don't want to smoke up the house. Usually that happens because people have their heat up too high. So just turn it down a scotch and let some of that smoke should kind of taper down a little bit. There we go. Nice brown in there. Nice sear on the top. So now that I got the other side flipped, got a nice brown coat on one side. See that? What we'll do to hit these, I usually flip it and keep it on its side. That'll help kind of sear the edges. So now I'm gonna let it sit for like 3 minutes on this side. It took about 3 minutes for that side. Then we're gonna stick it in the oven, and that'll help cook the rest of the meat without burning the outer side. You don't want your steak burnt on the outside. So what you do is stick it in the oven. Oven just reached 350. Then once it's in the oven, it's time for us to get these carbs right, the blueberries, all that stuff. And then after that, it should be enough time with it in the oven. Pull it out, let it rest, completely start cooking. By then, the oatmeal should simmer down some. Eat the steak, eat the oatmeal, have a great post-workout meal. Usually you want to try to eat no later than 90 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes after a good workout. I usually don't even like to let it go that long. That's kind of like cresting on the outer boundaries. So I usually like to eat within probably like 45 minutes of my workout. By then I'm hungry anyway. So gonna get through this started, and we're almost there, all right? That's in the oven, cooking. Let's get this oatmeal. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour about a cup of blueberries. I know what that kind of looks like, so a cup, blueberries in there. We'll go ahead and rinse these off. Usually rinse those off a little bit. Back in there. Those are ready. Now let's go ahead and get this fire kicked up here high. Get it nice and boiling. Dump the oats in. Waiting for the water to get nice and boiling. Go ahead and take this, put it in here, fill this up with water. Straight black coffee. No creamer, no sugar, nothing. The only thing that's going to give this coffee some extra taste is the remaining spinach and the remaining protein that's in there. None of that other crap. Don't put a bunch of sugar and a bunch of creamer in your coffee. That sucks. Black or with protein. And if you need to know how to see that, I got a video on how to make protein coffee on the channel in the playlist. So one of the good things about beef is you can eat it, you know, rare. I don't like it rare. I don't like my red meat mooing at me when I get into it. So I'm pretty cool with, if there's a little pink in there, cool. If it's a little bit more tan with the hint of pink in the inside, cool. Anything in that realm I'm good with. If I cut into it and it's just like blood everywhere, it's a no-go. Now I could deal with a little bit of blood, no big deal, because you don't want to kill the meat by just obscenely overcooking it. So usually I found about 8 to 10 minutes in the oven usually works, and pull it out and rest. It's usually about where I want it, even if it tips a tad over. Filet mignon is just one of those cuts that is very tender that it usually gives you that extra cushion not to cook it to the point where it's tough. It's a tender meat. It's a very rich meat. It's a very rich in protein, less fat. I know a lot of people like ribeye. Ribeye is like hella fattening, but that marbleization in it that also comes with that flavor is fat. But if you have the room for it, go for it. If you like ribeye, hey, a tomahawk looks good, but I prefer a good filet. So right here you see our water is boiling. I'm gonna get ready to put our oats in there. As soon as it gets a little bit more volatile than that, dump the oats in. Once the oats are in there for a little bit, stir those up, and then we'll go ahead and put our cinnamon in, our brown sugar in, and let that kind of go, and then we'll go to those next steps. By the time we get to that, should be time to go ahead and pull, put the camera places it probably shouldn't be. Be ready to pull our meat out, our protein out, let it rest, finish up the oatmeal, and then it's time to eat. Oats in, go, rest those in, stir them up. and we'll go ahead and reduce heat to medium. From this point on, we'll cook the oatmeal at medium heat. Now, usually good old-fashioned oatmeal doesn't take any longer than about 5 to 6 minutes to cook. And then it's good to let that even rest a little bit, where it soaks up a bit more of that moisture and just has that nice, good, moist eating in it, instead of it being like uncooked. It sucks because it's a gritty, you're not gonna like it. It's probably not gonna be great for your digestive system, especially for people that might have just digestive issues, that have problems eating seeds, stuff like that. You want to make sure that oatmeal's cooked pretty good. Now your oatmeal's gonna foam up like this. This is when you should need to give it a stir. Make sure everything's getting evenly cooked. Some of those oats from the bottom, from the side, switch places. Distribute heat well, shake off. Now we're almost at the point where I like to go ahead and add the cinnamon and the brown sugar, because that allows that to get, cooked in there as well, and gets rid of that grit and lets it infuse with the oats real good and help deliver a more balanced taste between it all. So let's get ready to go ahead and put that in. Cinnamon, it's about a tablespoon of brown sugar. Add in. Now you want to stir that in there real good. Make sure you get the outside. Let those oats get nice and circulated, cook evenly as possible. We're about 4 minutes in on the actual meat. It's going to be time to go ahead. At this point, I like to go ahead and just cut that heat off on the oven and let the heat that's just in there already continue to cook it, and then I pull it, let it sit out and rest. Like I said before, this is what your oats should start looking like, and you'll get this build up right here. Just go ahead and stir, and you see that starting to break up that cinnamon. Some of those cinnamon clumps are starting to dissipate, like you got that one right there. It's a nice cinnamon clump. It's starting to dissipate. Just go ahead and stir it, and those will completely break up as they cook in. Momentarily, blueberries, craisins, almost done with everything. We'll go ahead and start our coffee, Cafe Forte, very dark, rich blend. Get that started. Coffee be hot. I like it to calm down a little bit. I don't like my coffee too hot anyway. It's really not good to drink it too hot. So by the time it'll be drinking, about within that nice, cozy, warm range. All right. Then we'll go ahead, once I get the measurements on the meat and the oatmeal, I already know. We'll go ahead and put it all in my fitness pal, and I'll give you all the macro layout and the amount of calories that I'm about to consume as well. About time to add those blueberries. There we go. Extra water. Go ahead and get craisins in. Dump those. Do stir again. Mixing the blueberries and the craisins up real good inside of the oatmeal evenly. Let that flavor get out of here. Now, what's gonna happen is the oatmeal, once these blueberries and craisins get cooked in here, I like it because the oatmeal will start, the heat will break down the blueberries and the craisins, and that flavor will travel throughout the oatmeal, and the oatmeal color will also change, so be prepared for that. Right here, we'll run up on 15, 16 seconds. Pretty much time to get ready to pull our, I had you looking at 4. Pretty much time to get ready to pull our meat out and let it rest under room temperature. Be careful, look at that. Oh yeah, that's nice. That is nice. Put that back there to rest. Look at that brownie. That is looking good. Our coffee is done. Go ahead and lock this thing over, but that is looking good. Oatmeal, stir this up some more. Oh yeah, you can see some of that color of the oatmeal already, of the blueberries and the craisins starting to work its way through that oatmeal. I think I'm gonna move this to the side and actually go ahead and get me sunny side egg up. So I'm just gonna move this steak to the side. It's already got some good flavoring in it. Put a little bit, not a lot, season of salt right there. And let that just rest in there with the meat, and then that egg will cook naturally underneath that regular heat. We'll have us a nice sunny side up egg to go with that. Just a little extra protein, we'll put that in. I'm hoping to hit around 40 grams of protein. If it's a little bit more, I'm okay with it. Let's go ahead and stir this oatmeal a little bit more. It's starting to stick a little bit to the bottom. Not much, but that's an indication that it's pretty much getting there. So right now we can go ahead and turn this heat off and let this oatmeal cook underneath the heat that it's already consumed, and the oatmeal will be pretty much ready, okay? All right, so it's time we'll go ahead and get our plate out and go ahead and get ready. I think this is a big enough plate. Zero out our scale. Make sure it's on the right units. It's on ounces. Go ahead and tear it out one more time. Let's get our meat over and see how much we actually have. There we go. And as you see, it cooked down to about 5 ounces. So measuring it uncooked, 5.5. That's why I like to go ahead and measure items that are cooked. You need to be very careful of that, because that's going to give you a weight, because a lot of things get out of there once you start cooking it. Moisture comes out, water comes out, whatever else is in there comes out. Measure it when you're getting ready, before you get ready to eat it when it's cooked. So we went from a 9-ounce filet that was chopped at the butcher to 5.5 ounces. Now we know what it is when we get ready to put it in. Got our egg getting ready to come out of here, oatmeal getting ready to come out. Let's get ready to add up these macros, see what we have. So we're done. Here we go. We got our coffee mixed with a little bit of protein residue. Got our nice steamy ready hot oatmeal infused with blueberries, craisins, cinnamon, brown sugar. We also have our filet. Look at how that is cooked. It is awesome. And our sunny side over egg. So let's go over these macros. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the screen, MyFitnessPal, so you can also follow along and see how I put this stuff in. And hopefully that'll help you all understand how to not only log the food, but how to go through trying to do the portions and all of that other good stuff, and work through MyFitnessPal if you need to. I do have another video on here on the channel that shows you hacks on how to get all types of things into MyFitnessPal. All right, so I'm going to go in today. Now for breakfast already, this is going to be my second breakfast. I'll put that in later. Let's just put in what I'm doing now so you can see that. So right now we're going to go to the filet in the search. You see right there, we got a Longhorns filet, which I can go ahead and use that, but it probably would be better to, you could actually use that, but let's find just a generic right there. So we have a Walmart. Let's just use the Walmart. So Walmart, we'll go ahead and put 5 ounces in, put it in ounce increments, and then go ahead and move this up to 5 ounces. We have 5.5 ounces. Say yes to that right there. We're already sitting at 27.5 grams of protein right there, okay? Then we're gonna add in our 1 large egg. Take that down to 1. You can see I eat those right there frequently. And the seasoning, you don't have to really worry about that, because you don't use a bunch of bullshit like creamy condiments. We just use regular seasoning salt, stuff like that. Sodium is pretty much good as long as you're not just high in your salt. We could put in the black coffee. We'll go ahead and put the black coffee in. The 8 ounces of black coffee, or the 1 cup of black coffee, which we should have here, and we'll find it just like a generic one. Black coffee, 1 cup. Put that in. That doesn't hurt you as long as you don't add all the creamers and the sugars in. Then we're going to go ahead and tend to this oatmeal, okay? So the oatmeal right here, old-fashioned oatmeal, I know 2 of those scoops is about half of a cup. Then you see I have my 0.2 cups of craisins. I know that that's about 1/4 of a cup, that 1 scooper. And then I have 1 cup of blueberries. And then I have my brown sugar. And I also will put in the cinnamon in there, which it doesn't really hurt you, but we'll put it in just for having some continuity here. And we'll put the cinnamon in right there. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon is about what I put in there, probably a little bit less. And now we'll look and see that this breakfast right here is going to lend us 725 calories. Now to see the full carbs, fats, and protein, we're going to turn it to the side and we can get our full macro breakout. We're sitting at 93 carbs, 25 grams of fat. So let me go back to that. 93 grams of carbs, 25 grams of fat, and 40 grams of protein. Did I not call it? I said 40, it's right there, 40, right? 40 grams of protein. And the reason I like that number is that's about teetering on the number or the amount of protein that you should take in per meal. Anything that kind of runs on the north of that, 45, 50, 60, your body really is not utilizing it. So therefore you're losing that amount of protein. You could have saved it for another meal for a different intake. All right. So this is my meal right here, post workout. Very good. I'm ready to eat it. I'm ready to get it done. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I will make sure to try to do other videos like this, hopefully in different portions of my day when it comes to eating. But yeah, y'all take it easy. You know what I always say, be safe. Let's build together. Peace.